Breaking news. Robert Card, the man suspected of killing 18 people in mass shootings in Lewiston, Maine, has been found dead. Officials held a press conference within the last hour. Here are the highlights.
Like many people, I'm breathing a sigh of relief tonight, knowing that Robert Card is no longer a threat to anyone. I know there are some people, many people, who share that sentiment, but I also know that his death may not bring solace to many. But now is the time to heal. And with this search concluded, I know that law enforcement continues to fully investigate all the facts so we can bring what closure we can to the victims and their families.
All 18 victims in Wednesday's attack have now been identified. I want to begin with NBC's Kathy Park, who was at the press conference in Lewiston tonight. Kathy, thank you for being there. What else did we hear from officials, and how are you? This had to be an extraordinary few days.
Yeah, an extraordinary 12 hours, to be quite frank with you, Stephanie. So at 10 o'clock this morning, we got an update as to how law enforcement was going to move forward with their investigation. They talked about the large police presence in the Lisbon area, the boat launch in that area. That is where the suspect's abandoned vehicle was located, and that's why they decided to ramp up the activity there. And then at 5 o'clock this evening, just a couple of hours ago, they lifted the shelter in place order. So shortly after that, we assumed the investigation was still ongoing. Robert Card was nowhere to be found. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we got an update saying that there was going to be this press conference. And then shortly after that, we found that Robert Card has been confirmed dead with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officials have not shared many more details beyond that, Stephanie. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., they hope to offer more details as to how the body was found. But as you mentioned, this community has been gripped with fear and a lot of anxiety with a manhunt underway, entering a third day. But law enforcement, as well as the governor, you heard her just a few moments ago saying that this community can breathe a sigh of relief at this point. And there is some closure for the family members of the 18 victims. And of course, more than a dozen people also were injured and are recovering from their injuries this evening. But, this community was on pause for the past 2 days because there were so many questions as to where this individual was hiding potentially. There were a lot of questions as to where he may have fled to. Was he dead? Was he alive? But once again, in the past hour, we found out that Robert Card, the suspect in this horrific mass shooting here in Maine, has been found dead.